This episode of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast was recorded on March 14th, 2022. So if there's any news that we missed in this episode, then we are very sorry about that. Also, there's a slight trigger warning in this episode as there may be some slightly mild language used. So if that's going to easily trigger you, then please watch this episode with caution. Other than that, thank you. Enjoy.
And we are back. It's going to be a great episode today. A crazy good weekend at Phoenix. Came down to the wire. What do you guys think? Phoenix was a pretty good weekend this week, right? I thought it was pretty dope.
Oh, yeah, it was a great weekend. Honestly, the racing was great. Everything was great, to be honest. What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I just think NASCAR's been pretty fire this year. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
It has been pretty fire. As we're here back live from Indianapolis, Indiana, welcome to the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. My name is Tristan Grider, joined with, as always, my co-hosts Daniel Chaney and Justin Cox. We got a great show for you guys today. Gonna talk to Black Flags Matter himself, Darian Gilliam. Going to talk all about his experiences just being in the NASCAR media world. Then we're going to go into some motorsport media, some quick games of Guess the Driver, and then our predictions for this week at Atlanta. It's going to be a great show. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so we have a lot of stuff going on in the news world this past weekend. Past week, actually, with all three of the main auto sports that we cover on this show, F1, IndyCar, NASCAR. Let's go ahead and start with the NASCAR news. Biggest news of the week, Team Stange Racing has announced that they will be running part-time in the NASCAR Cup Series. It will be the number 79 Ford Mustang, sponsored by Dignity Gold LLC, and it's Daigao token. I believe that's how you say that. I'm sure that if any big Team Stange fans could correct me on that if I'm wrong. So they're going to do 8 races. The driver is going to be Tarso Marquez, who was a former part-time part-time F1 driver. There we go. And they're going to be doing 8 races. First race they're going to be at is they're going to go to Elkhart Lake in Road America. We're all excited for that. That's going to be their debut. Then they're going to go to Indy, Watkins Glen, Daytona for the season, for the regular season finale. So that's a little scary. And then they're going to go to the Roval, Las Vegas, Homestead, and then they're going to go to the championship at Phoenix, which is also scary because as we've seen it in the past, with these new teams that do their big races of the season, with NASCAR's biggest races of the season, I always get kind of nervous. Oh, yeah. So I'm a little nervous about that, but congrats to Team Stange Racing on getting that number 79 deal done. Excited to see what Tarso Marquez can do in that car. He's never stepped really in a stock car, so
it'll be interesting.
Should be interesting. Going over to Xfinity, Parker Chase will make his Xfinity Series debut at COTA with Sam Hunt Racing. This happened this past weekend at Phoenix, but Ghost and Out of the Groove have partnered with Bailey Curry on a part-time basis, and with JD Motorsports. We don't really know how many times we'll see Ghost on the car or if we'll see Out of the Groove on the car more, but have to shout out a fellow content creator. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Really, in general, the big NASCAR news that was this week was Team Stange Racing. But now we're going to cover a little bit of sad news on the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. The David Gilliam Racing hauler driver Steven Stotts was tragically killed in a highway accident that involved his pretty much the hauler getting ran off the road and caused a fire explosion. Stotts was killed in the accident. The other 2 people injured ended up being checked and released from hospitals. So prayers up for them and their family, and prayers up for the Stotts family. It's very, very, very sad news. On a more theatrical note, though, Taylor Gray and that GGR team ended up winning their race that they ran at. So so that was a very storybook there, but our thoughts to the Stotts family and to David Gilliam Racing. Losing a crew member is never ideal. So RIP to Steven, and we hope that prayers are with their family. Not to kill the mood, but let's go ahead and transition over to Daniel with the news from IndyCar. We got a driver announcement.
Yeah, so I've got two bits of IndyCar news, one of which directly affects IndyCar. The other one is IndyCar involved, but not directly impacting. So the big IndyCar direct news. So the 11 car that's driven by Tatiana Calderon for all the street and road courses. Obviously, she's not running the ovals. So AJ Foyt Racing has announced that during all the oval races this season, so this is going to be Texas, Iowa, and the Indy 500, J.R. Hildebrand will be running in the 11 car at all of the ovals. So we'll see this weekend will be his first race in that 11 car. I think that's a good announcement.
Oh yeah, it's nice to see.
We like J.R.
back.
Hildebrand here.
He's always
he's a
scary
good driver.
He's always
He's a
scary
good
good
driver.
on
Yeah.
ovals. Always scary good on ovals. So
I'm surprised
He's
we
one of
haven't seen
the.
him recently.
Well, we saw him at the 500 last year, but
I mean,
besides
yeah,
that,
but, outside of that, that's the
Yeah.
500. But yeah,
yeah. So I'm excited to see J.R. Hildebrand in the ovals this season. Always one of those always one of those drivers that can just somehow be up at the front, and then you're just like, oh yeah, JR is up there. It just kind of happens. And then
Naturally.
the second bit of IndyCar news. So this is not direct IndyCar news, but Colton Herta has signed with McLaren's F1 team to be a development or testing driver, because obviously F1 has that new rule where they have to have rookie test drivers. Is it every season?
I think one weekend. I mean, I think it's every season, but they're making a rule in F1 now that at least one weekend in practice one, it has to be a rookie driver or like a test driver that has to practice that weekend.
Right.
So
Okay.
I thought that was pretty cool, but yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that's been like a rule change that's going to start this year, and they've had that for a little bit. Like they announced it during the summer, or not during the summer, during the off season.
Yeah.
But Colton Herta has officially signed to be McLaren's test driver for this year, so that's pretty exciting. And like while that doesn't mean like he's gonna drive for McLaren and F1. Obviously, whenever that Andretti deal kind of gets sorted out and finalized, it's pretty much been solidified that he's going to be one of the two drivers. But it is exciting that he gets to kind of partner with McLaren, who's obviously an IndyCar partner alongside with Andretti, and he gets some more experience in the F1 cars, gets to know the cars a little bit better, and it'll help him get super license points for when it is time to
Yeah.
make that deal finalized, so you don't have to make some big deal of, he doesn't have all the points he needs. So I think
that
I
was
think that's
made
some
over
good
the last
news.
season.
Yeah, I think that's some good news for Colton Herta, an IndyCar driver. And so, speaking of F1, I'm gonna pass it to Jay for the F1
Okay.
news.
Okay, we got a few things from over the weekend in F1. The biggest story I reported last week that I thought Pietro Fittipaldi was going to get the seat at Haas. Boy, I was completely wrong.
the day after we filmed.
Exactly. Kevin Magnussen is back in Formula 1. And
Yeah, baby.
yeah, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad to see Kevin Magnussen back. Good driver, and he actually was running up in the front and testing. But I mean, it's testing, although it's testing. But yeah. Speaking of testing, I did want to go into that. Testing was last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The final practice session, Max Verstappen ended up with a 1:31.720. That was the fastest lap the entire weekend. So, I don't know what's going on. It's testing, of course. I don't think everybody's pushing their equipment too hard. Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to be good or bad. It's kind of hard to make a prediction right now because you don't know how teams' aero and stuff is going to affect from the body and chassis and all that. So,
Right.
but I'm very, very invested in how this first race is going to go. And it's this weekend. Yes.
Yeah, baby.
There's a lot of racing this weekend.
Woo! Let's go, Lando.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm picking Lando this week.
Okay, you're picking Lando. Okay, so now next, I did just want to read off the top 5 from the final session. Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, and Valtteri Bottas were the top 5. And like I said, this could be completely different this weekend, but like this is testing. And then I did want to keynote that Mick Schumacher did run a 1:33.151, and that was 8th in the final practice session. And I'm assuming that all the teams were somewhat pushing in the final session. So maybe we're seeing Haas improve a little bit. I don't know. But and then Lewis also
season, baby.
Haas championship season confirmed. No. That's not my pick. Don't take my word on that. And then Lewis also said that the Mercedes felt like it was very slow to the Red Bull. And I feel like Mercedes is sandbagging or holding back. And I think they're just kind of saying this just because they can. So, I don't know. But that's all I got. And if you want to take us to the next segment.
Yeah, for
Tristan?
sure. Something I just remembered. I know we don't normally cover NHRA on the show, but Tony Stewart has become the 5th driver to win a race in both NASCAR as an owner and in NHRA. His funny car took it home this past weekend, so congratulations to Tony Stewart on his first team win. We don't really cover drag racing a whole lot on this show. I think this is the first time we've mentioned drag racing on this show, but congrats to Tony Stewart. So that's pretty solid. Let's go ahead and transition. We got a very special guest. Let's go to our special interview of the week. And welcome back to the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. We have a very special guest today, Mr. Black Flags Matter himself, Darian Gilliam. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to finally make this happen and stuff. Sorry for the whole rescheduling deal and stuff, but glad to be here.
Yeah, it's all good with us. Joining us from the Danny B Content House in Tennessee. How does it feel to? We know you recently moved from the West Coast to Tennessee. How's the life been living in, not the Lone Star, like what's it called? The Volunteer State, I believe it's
Volunteer State. Yeah, close enough, right? You were about to say the Lone Star State.
I definitely was.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool. It's taken me a little while to get used to it. I mean, I'm coming all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, so just living on the West Coast and like West Coast time, all that stuff. Like the one thing I'm still not used to yet is like everything just starts so late, But at least I'm not on the East Coast. At least this is like Central Time, so it's like basically in the middle, I guess. But I mean, and also, I don't know, it's just like, getting used to like a whole new environment and stuff where it's like, I don't know, like the weather's been kind of crazy out here too and stuff. Like, I mean, It was really nice today, but then it's apparently supposed to be snowing all weekend. So I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. So I'll be like kind of stuck inside the rest of the weekend. But I mean, other than that, it's been awesome, being by, friends and stuff. And then I have some family that live in Virginia, so I can drive, I can make the 6 to 7 hour drive to go visit them, anytime I want. So it's been fun.
There you go. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that you get to like pretty much just hang out with your fellow podcast hosts like all the time. You get to hang out with Danny B and Claudia and with Jarrett too, Eric's.
Yeah.
The only one that's not really near you guys is Eric. But hopefully maybe you see he might head over to Nashville pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll just talk about that. You pretty much grew up watching NASCAR and IndyCar. Grew up watching the Double E Cup Series, probably.
Yeah.
How does it feel to get to host a podcast with your best friends? Because I know that like we love it, and you get to host a podcast with people that you probably watched like growing up, but also like now you're friends with them, and you get to like interview drivers. My favorite interview you guys have done was AJ Allmendinger, but how does it feel to pretty much just get to like have that dream become a reality?
Yeah, I mean, like when Jarrett first hit me up about doing the show, I was like out in Reno, Nevada for spring break and stuff, and then I remember seeing his DM at like 2 a.m. I was just so drunk, man. Like, I was partying and stuff, and then I saw it, and then I was like, yeah, I'll answer it in the morning. And then I ended up ghosting him for like a month. And then I saw it, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot about this guy and stuff. And what's cool about that is that, the funny thing is, I watched his videos a year before I started making content, and I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. And then Eric Estep, everyone pretty much watched him, in middle school and high school and stuff. And, he's such a chill dude. And then being up with Danny B and stuff too through the both of them has been a blessing as well. But yeah, I mean, like, just being able to do a show with like my best friends and stuff, it's something that I couldn't have imagined. Like, I've always wanted to do the whole media thing around motorsports like all my life, but I thought I would just take the whole traditional journalism route and stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that and stuff, but like, I feel like there's already a bunch of people who already do that kind of thing. You have your Jeff Glucks, your Bob Pockrases and stuff. So like, my thing is, I was like, okay, well, why don't I just make some content and stuff from, obviously the fan perspective and stuff, and put a little bit of a twist on it, I guess. So I don't know, it's just the type of content me and Jarrett made and stuff. Like, I remember we were talking about this a while back. Like, I don't know, us growing up, like outside of like Eric Estep and maybe a few other content creators, like, I felt like most of the community was just full of like, race uploaders and like, the little compilation channels. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that and stuff, but I felt like, the NASCAR YouTube community needed a little more variety. So, once we all started making content after the 2017 season and in early 2018, we all just kind of linked up and, started doing the podcast and stuff. And, here we are today. So, I mean, it's been pretty cool. I mean, it's one thing to do a successful show like that, but then it's another thing when you actually become best friends with them too. At this point, they're pretty much like family to me.
Yeah, that's so dope.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, I'll pass this one over to Daniel.
Okay, and so for some like viewers or listeners that might not know kind of about your like social media presence, I gotta hear you talk about the curse. What is it? The BFM Twitter curse.
Dude, I don't know. Like, this whole thing started in like 2020 after the pandemic and stuff. Well, I mean, excuse me, after NASCAR had a little hiatus, during the beginning of the whole pandemic. Like the first race back for Darlington, I, immediately start tweeting and stuff. I tweet about Ricky Stenhouse Jr., bam, crashes lap 1. I tweet about Jimmy Johnson, bam, he crashes while leading. Then I tweet about William Byron, like, hey, he might take it. Then bam, he crashes while he's like running inside the top 5 and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And then it just kept going on consistently week in and week out, man. I'm just like, I'm not even doing this on purpose. Like, and I'm not even like trash talking anybody. I just positively like, tweet about drivers and stuff. Like, hey, this guy's doing good, or he might have some potential. And then boom, their race gets shot that very same day. Like, and I'm just like, how is this possible? And then it's been even crazier this year for 2022. I mean, immediately with the Clash, I tweet about Justin Haley. He has a problem. And then freaking, tweeting about other guys. And then last week too for Vegas, I mean, just Ryan Blaney, I tweeted about he has a problem and stuff. And, I tweeted about Ross Chastain, and thankfully nothing happened to him. Like, it's taken on a whole life of its own to where, like, some of the young drivers, some of the young up-and-coming drivers in NASCAR, like, Carson Hocevar in the Truck Series and Sam Mayer in the Xfinity Series are like, stop effing talking, or don't talk about me. And I'm like, I get it and stuff. This is, it's a part of my thing. Like, I can't just stop. Like, I mean, if I have something positive to say about someone, I'm going to say it, but I get where they're coming from, though. They don't want to be cursed and stuff. But yeah, I might have to do a whole video on that pretty soon because, again, I mean, it's been so consistent, especially, the beginning of the 2022 season. So yeah, I might have to do a video on that. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's just, it's bad luck, I guess.
My favorite one is like how we were talking about, because Daniel didn't get to watch a whole lot of Fontana this year, and his favorite driver is Reddick, and it gets better. And so he was we were texting, and then he's like, I can't get to my TV until like 4 or 5, and we were like, okay, cool, you're good. And he's like, who's leading? And I was like, do you want us to tell you who's leading? And he's like, yeah. And he was like, we're like, Reddick's been leading the last 50 laps. He's like, okay, cool. And I was like, don't worry, Darian hasn't tweeted yet. And then literally immediately after that happened, he's just like, Damn.
Oh yeah, I put like the
And-
top 3, and that was a freaking prediction I had made like during the offseason. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
William Byron, Tyler Reddick, and Chase Briscoe, those 3 I think will get multiple wins, and then lo and behold, they're running in the top 3, and then Reddick and freaking Byron wreck in the same wreck, like and it was a freaking weird ass wreck too. So I'm like,
Mhm.
what? Like, what are the odds, dude? And then Chase Briscoe kind of faded away, but I'm like, man, that is such bad luck, man. It really is.
The best part of that story was the fact that I didn't even know you had tweeted, and I literally sat down, turned on my TV, and as soon as I turned it on, literally like within a lap, he wrecked, and I was like, oh my gosh, and they were like, stop watching, turn the TV off, and then I was like, wait, has Darian tweeted about Reddick? And they're like, yes. I was like, then it's not on me. It's not on me.
That's my favorite. That's,
That's funny though. It's funny to hear like the other people's perspectives on it and stuff. It's kind of funny that's like now people are like when a driver wrecks, some people are like, did Darian tweet about him? I mean, that's kind of cool though, to be honest with you.
I mean, like at this point, has it gotten to the point where you've ever just kind of been like, I kind of just want to shout out this one driver, just test the waters, like.
No, I don't ever do it on purpose. I swear. Like, I rarely do it on purpose. Like, on occasion, I'll do it on purpose sometimes, but it's very rarely, though. Like usually, again, when this whole jinx happens, it's after I tweet out something positive about someone.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know how long this thing's going to last, but I guess from what I can tell, it's not ending anytime soon, I guess. Because, I mean, I'm going to keep tweeting about drivers every now and then during the race and stuff. It's a funny thing though. It's funny, but then some people, I guess some people on Twitter take it really, really serious. I'm surprised I haven't been reported yet. Thankfully, I haven't though, but I'm pretty sure that'll happen soon.
Oh man, that's funny. Jay.
So basically, like the last 5 to 7 years, I grew up watching like you, Eric, Jarrett, Emperor Lemon, all of them like cover motorsports and stuff and be basically like motorsports influencers. And that kind of influenced us in a way to make this podcast. And how does it feel to have that type of like influence on people or like?
Oh, I mean, it's a blessing, man. Like, and also like for the record too, I just me personally, just the term influencer, I'm just like, I just trying to stay away from that. To me and my buddies, we're just, guys who, make videos about our favorite sport and stuff like that. But I mean, it is, it is crazy to have, that type of influence and stuff. It is crazy because growing up, I didn't know anybody who watched racing like that. At all. And, I would only talk about racing with my really, really, really close friends and, of course, my family because they had gotten me into it in the first place. Yeah. But then outside of my friend groups, whenever I would tell people, talk about racing, whenever others were talking about sports, they would look at me like I was some, fucking Martian from another planet or something like that. They're like, what are you doing? Like, you're black. They're like, why do you like NASCAR and stuff? Why do you like racing and stuff? You like seeing these like rednecks going in circles? Like, and they just don't have the clue. Like, obviously, you're gonna have certain stereotypes and stuff like that. But again, growing up watching the sport, I mean, I just fell in love with it. Ever since first grade and stuff, and seeing it in person, I was just like, oh yeah, like I really want to try and be a part of this stuff. But it's really amazing to to just see the whole the BFM platform grow the way it has been the past 4 to 5 years, and I don't know, it's just all I have to say is just thank you guys so much for watching. What I mean?
Problem,
I wouldn't have a job without
yeah, for sure.
From fans like you, like you guys. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
for sure, man. And it was always awesome to talk about you. We talked. We met at the Indy Road Course this past July. Amazing race, by the way. And I remember we were talking about, you were like, I'm so hyped for this road course, and we were like, yeah, it's pretty good. We've been to like the Indy cars, and it was cool to finally see the Cup cars on the track. And is there any chance you're gonna come back to Indy this year? Or is that not how it's going to work this year?
I am thinking about it. I was told by David Land that there's some type of IndyCar test going on in April. So, like, I might hit that up, to get some footage, some content, and to make some more connects, maybe. As far as, like, the NASCAR race, again, I mean, it's only, like, a 4 or 5 hour drive from where I'm at now. So, I mean, it is a possibility that I could be out there for the road course race. We'll see. I'll definitely keep you guys posted.
Okay,
Yeah,
dope.
for sure. And that's always something really cool. You build those connections. How did it feel to get pretty much? Were you invited by Atlanta to like just hang out at the track?
So that was like a whole deal that Danny put together. He recently uploaded a video interviewing some of the higher ups at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and he asked me like, "Hey, do you want to come along?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I want to see the new reconfiguration and stuff. I want to see what all the fuss is about." And oh my gosh, that banking, holy shit, it is high up, man. It is really high.
That's crazy.
They definitely banked that place, and now there's news coming out today that they might add a double yellow line rule and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, oh gosh. So Atlanta Super Speedway, that era begins, I guess. So I mean, it's going to be really narrow now with the whole double yellow line rule. So it's going to be really interesting. And I do plan on going to that race. Not as a fan, but I actually got media creds for that weekend. Thankfully, me and Danny. So hopefully I'll just get some good content while I'm out there. So I'll keep you guys posted on that.
That's
Nice.
dope. That's dope. Now we're gonna do a quick little game with you, real quick.
Oh, nice.
This game is called This or That. So you might be seeing this. We're just gonna shoot you with some real quick questions, real quick.
Okay.
So we each got a couple prepared. I'm gonna shoot mine, then Daniel's gonna go, then Jay's gonna go. Just top of your head. It's gonna be one or the other. You ready?
Got it. Go.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
All right, playoffs or Chase?
Chase.
All right, Daytona or Talladega?
Talladega.
There you go.
Ooh, okay.
All right, Jay, what you got?
All right. 3, 2, 1. 2 tires or 4?
4.
Fan on or off when sleeping?
On.
Controller or wheel?
Controller. All day. Controller.
And then I got one last one that's kind of a trend right now. Wheels or doors?
Wait, say it again.
Wheels or doors?
Wheels or door? Wheels.
Wheels.
That's
Okay.
what's up. That's
Nice.
what's up.
The right answer.
All right, Dan.
Okay. Ovals or road course?
Ovals.
Team standard liveries or individual liveries?
Individual liveries.
And then last one, autographs or selfies when you meet an athlete or a driver?
Autographs. Yeah, I'd rather have the autographs.
Nice.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, so real quick, how was it being at a sold out Daytona 500? Because that is one of my all-time things that I'm that I've been to the sold out Indy 500s. Like the 100th Indy 500 was insanity. If you've ever been to an Indy 500, highly suggest that
I
you
want
go.
to.
Bro, you gotta go. It's the best thing in the world. But you got pretty much the next best thing with the sold out Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Yeah, this was actually my third Daytona 500 I've been to, but for 2020 it got rained out and I had to go back for school on Monday. And in hindsight, thank goodness that happened because I don't know, something about seeing Ryan Newman's wreck in person. Like, thank God I didn't see that. So I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I missed that one. So I always tell people my first Daytona 500 was the Daytona 20 because I only saw 20 laps of it and then went home. But then for 2021, it was in some ways way worse because you had the weather delay for 6 hours, and then once the race got back going, all of the competitive cars had been wrecked out in that big one on lap 13. So I pretty much got to watch the Daytona 500 Choo Choo Train edition. Them just running the top lane and stuff, and I'm just like, and it was super cold too, and the race didn't end until 2:00 in the morning. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so freaking tired and I'm so cold. But hey, at least Michael McDowell won. So thankfully, the third time's a charm. This was my first real Daytona 500. No BS with the weather or with the racing. The racing was pretty damn good. The vibe was pretty good too out there too. I met a lot of people out there. I was talking with a bunch of fans who watch the channel and stuff, and who I race with on iRacing too every now and then. Before the race and stuff, and then it was just beautiful blue skies, sunny, clear day and stuff. It was a little bit of hot, but it had a slight breeze. And I was like, yeah. This is it. This is the most perfect Daytona 500 I've ever been to up to this point. And then once the racing started and stuff, you know, you saw the flip on the backstretch with Harrison Burton. You saw, you know, like intense pack racing too. And then, you know, all of a sudden in the final 10 laps, this is a funny story. I was trying to use the bathroom, but the lines were so damn long. And I had almost made it into the bathroom stall. And then I saw on like the little TV thing on top of us, the pace car lights went off, and then I immediately booked it back to my seat. You know, I was like, okay, I'm not missing the finish. There's no way I'm going to have to miss the 500 finish because I had to use the bathroom. So then, you know, I saw the whole, you know, the last lap deal, you know, with like Cindric blocking Blaney, and then Bubba almost got him. I have a theory. Bubba had, you know, his full car and wasn't missing, you know, a little bit of that sheet metal on the right side of his car. He might have maybe, if you know, gotten the win, maybe. It's a maybe, but I don't know. But overall, man, it was a fantastic experience, and now the next goal is trying to get media creds for the 500. That was a really fun race to get media creds for. Like even Eric Estep, he had gotten them like on the freaking day of the deadline and stuff. So I'm like, oh yeah, if Eric's like not getting shit until the deadline, there's no way I'm getting anything. So, but yeah, no, it was a fun experience, and you know, hopefully I'll be back next year.
There you go, Dan.
Yeah. So my question actually ties in with that. So obviously the Daytona 500 is like, it's a big like bucket list race for like a lot of fans. Are there any races or just tracks that you haven't been to yet that are like at the top of your bucket list currently?
I mean, a lot of the tracks that were, I mean, I've been to at this point. I mean, Daytona was one. I've been there. Bristol was another one. I'd been there. And then the fairgrounds, I mean, it's not a NASCAR track quite yet. You know, it's looking like it'll happen very soon, though. I crossed that off my list. So, like, the only ones I haven't been to yet that I really want to go to are Talladega. One used to be Chicagoland, but I mean, I've been there in person before, but there wasn't any racing going on, so I just explored it. And, the track's a ghost town now. It's really sad. Thankfully, I got to see Martinsville last year, so really a lot of like the bucket list tracks I've already crossed off and stuff. So I guess the next one will be Atlanta, because I was supposed to go to the 2020 Atlanta race, but then you know, like everything got shut down right as I landed, right as I got off the freaking airplane. It was like, oh yeah, no fans will be allowed. No media and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I just booked a flight home for the next day and stuff. So I'll definitely be making up for the lost race of 2020. So I guess right now Atlanta will be the next cross off my bucket list. But Talladega, that's definitely number one right now.
Yeah.
There you go. That's one of my number ones for sure. I need to go down to Talladega because that is like my dream. I feel like I've been to every other one. You know, and like Talladega.
I have to party in the at Talladega Boulevard. I have to party in the infield. I have to see what that's like and stuff too. I've heard some crazy story. I won't say I'm on here and stuff, but I've heard some crazy stories.
I think everyone's heard the crazy stories about Talladega Boulevard. All right, Jay, you got anything?
I guess my last question is, so like this interview or like conversation was really supposed to be about the 500, and because that's when we first like kind of were gonna talk or whatever, but now that we're a few races in, what is your like honest opinion on the Gen 7?
I mean, the jury's still out because like we still have, you know, a long way to go in the season. We're only 3, you know, well, technically 4 races in if you count the Clash. But I mean, overall, I mean, I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing. You know, it makes the freaking 550 horsepower package look even worse now. And I will, and I am planning on doing a video on that very soon. Because, I mean, now that, you know, we've seen the next-gen car on, you know, a super speedway, a 2-mile track, a 1.5-mile track, I mean, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, especially for, like, Las Vegas and stuff. Like, I mean, a Las Vegas race is typically not that exciting. And you know, doesn't have that many cautions and all that stuff. And I know you saw a lot of comers and goers, and finally the drivers are actually using their God-given talent to make a difference again. That's what racing's all about. Like, look, I understand the whole, you know, concepts of like, you know, having, you know, a certain aero package, you know, certain engine setups, you know, loose and tight setups and, you know, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that should make the difference is the drivers themselves. So it's great to see, you know, like for example, when Kyle Larson was battling Ross Chastain for the lead, coming off of turn 4 at Las Vegas, he nearly freaking loses it and almost and takes him out too in the process. So like, I love that. It's great to see these cars, hard to drive again. I mean, it's the freaking Cup Series. These should be
Exactly.
the hardest. It should be the hardest form of stock car racing. Like, I mean, for a while there, I mean, the Xfinity Series, in my opinion, was the hardest form for a while there too, based on the package and the type of talent we had. We had and that we currently have in that series. So for the most part, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit. We still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Eventually, certain teams are going to figure this car out, and then some teams are going to dominate. Like I feel like at some point you're going to see, the Joe Gibbs, the Team Hendrick, and the Team Penske guys, eventually figure out this car, and they're just going to, they might pull away, or perhaps we'll continue to see parity throughout the season because. Right now, we're 3 races into the 2022 season. Already 25 drivers have at least one top 10. That hasn't happened since 1973, so that's a whole new record.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting. This new car is incredible. The fact that we're supposed to be getting a new, I believe it's a new engine in the Indy cars in a couple of years, even though it got delayed, getting that in a couple of years, it's going to be like it's a good couple of years to be a race fan. Let's just say that, and it's going to be really, really cool. All right, Darian. So we started a little thing last week. It's going to be called Guess the Driver. So I don't know if you've seen like something on TikTok. I've got like you get like 30 seconds to guess like an athlete or something.
Oh, no.
So we started doing that. So pretty much what it is that you're going to have a minute and you're going to guess like yes or no questions and you're going to try to guess a driver. And so it's not going to be like insane. Like you're not going to be having to guess like I don't know, like some guy from like the 50s.
Okay,
But so like let's see if
It may be the 90s though. It may be the 90s.
It may be the
Okay.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how much BFM NASCAR bus knowledge comes into this one. All right, you ready?
Yep.
So just like yes or no questions, you can ask like a bit like what series they're from, whatever it is.
Is there a certain amount of questions I have to ask? Or?
No,
Okay.
Ask away.
Gotcha.
Just ask away.
All right. Sounds good. All right. When did they retire?
Tristan.
They retired in 2020.
Oh, damn, it's recent. Okay. Okay. When did they start their NASCAR career? What year?
2002.
Oh, okay. And what series were they a rookie that season, though? What series?
What series were they a rookie?
Yeah.
They were a rookie in the Cup
2002.
Series that season. They started their NASCAR career probably in like 1999.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
And they're still racing. I will give you that.
They're still racing right now?
They are still racing right now. But they are retired.
Okay. All right. And they retired in 2020. They're still racing now. Okay. How many career Cup Series wins do they have?
They have, I believe it is 84.
84?
Yes. There's a lot of them.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson.
There you go. Got it at the
That's easy.
buzzer.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go. Still racing today. Just a little tough one.
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, still racing a little bit. Yeah.
All right, Dan. You got one?
All right.
Is yours?
Yes.
Are you doing Cup or are you doing IndyCar?
I'm doing Cup.
Okay.
All right, cool.
I will say before, this is a current driver, so you don't have to
Okay.
worry about like
All right.
retiring or anything like that.
All right, sounds good. Okay. What team do they drive for?
Joe Gibbs Racing,
Okay. When was their rookie season?
2020.
2020.
He was 2019. He was 2019.
It was 2019?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so wait, 2019. Okay. 2019. Christopher Bell?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
No,
I was
he
like,
was
okay,
2020. He
It
was
was
2020.
2020.
It was
Okay.
20, okay.
There we go.
I
He
was
was
like,
in
was it
Xfinity
2019 or
in
2020? So
I don't
a little
know.
confused, but
It's hard to remember. Well,
That'd
thanks
be
for
easy.
doing that little game with us, Darian. Check that out on our TikTok page at Indy Boys Podcast. And once again, that'll do it for another interview. Oh my God, that's funny. All right, Darian, you got anything you want to shout out?
Well, no, just first off, just thank you guys so much for, inviting me on this very entertaining podcast you guys do. Keep up the amazing work. Just go follow me on my multiple platforms, Black Lives Matter on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and I am technically on TikTok. I don't really post on there that much and stuff. So, and also let me know when you guys post this interview, and I will promote it on my pages.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darian. We hope you have a good rest of your day. Go say what's up to Danny B for us, all right?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and Jared too. I'll make sure to go say what's
Jared.
up.
Oh, and Jared.
Oh, yeah,
Jared's here
of
too. That's right. Jared's in town. All right. See you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much to Darian Gilliam for coming out to the show. Make sure you guys check him out, all of his stuff. We're going to have all that in the description at Black Flags Matter, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you so much to Darian for coming out. Let's go ahead and transition back into some motorsport media. We got the 2 races we had at Phoenix this weekend. Went down to Arizona. Xfinity and Cup, both of them pretty solid races. Let's go ahead and start with the Xfinity Series race. Noah Gragson takes it home at Phoenix. Now, not going to lie, I don't think Noah had the fastest car, but he took it home anyway. I thought Trevor Bayne honestly kind of had that locked up. And that's something I haven't said since 2011. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but Trevor Bayne, I think, is probably going to have a career resurgence in the Xfinity Series on the level of AJ Allmendinger, and I am here for it.
I am
so
too. I am too.
Full-time Trevor Bayne next season, I'd love to see it. But let's go ahead and do a quick review about that. Solid racing all around. Wasn't a ton of accidents, pretty clean racing that I thought. But yeah, congrats to Gragson on the W. I don't think any of us picked Gragson last week.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 2 of us picked Ty Gibbs, and I think I picked Allgaier. So who also
AJ.
ran pretty well. Yeah, you picked AJ. But
I picked Ty Gibbs.
yes, that you did. But, pretty solid race at Phoenix in the Xfinity Series. Now let's go to the race of the week in the Cup Series. We actually got together, hung out in Jay's house, and we decided we were going to watch Phoenix. It was a great time. Watched the entire race, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and got to see our very own Indy boy, Chase Briscoe,
Yes,
bring home his
sir.
first win in the NASCAR Cup Series. Congratulations to Chase, Mitchell, Indiana's own.
Dang,
Chase
I should have
Briscoe.
worn my Chase Briscoe shirt for this episode. But F1's
There's still
more important
time.
to me.
There's still time.
F1's more important to me. I'm sorry.
But shout out to Chase Briscoe for getting his first win. We're going to talk all about the Cup race. First thing, stage 1. Pretty solid racing all around. I felt like very clean. I will say one thing, we were making it a game with each other to see how long it would take for Fox to not mention Kyle Larson.
Oh, gosh.
I get that he's last year's champion and everything, but they couldn't not mention him for 2 minutes. And it'd be like he was out of the race, and Clint Boyer was just like, don't worry, he'll be all right. He won himself a sprint car race this weekend.
Dude,
and I
he
was
actually said it. And
and
we all
were
died
joking about
laughing.
it, and it's funny to me, and I get that Mans was last year's Cup champion, but I haven't heard them talk about a Cup champion like this in years.
Dude.
Chase won the championship last season, and they barely talked about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's interesting to me. So yeah, that was that. This race was pretty much dominated by drivers that have not won a race. Chastain, Briscoe, Reddick were at the front pretty much the whole time. Ryan Blaney had a very strong run. Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, very strong runs, and pretty solid. I was excited to see guys that you don't normally see at the front at the front, and it just proves that this next gen car is pretty much like an equalizer.
Yeah.
And not as much an equalizer as it is drivers that are finally in equipment that they can win in, and it's pretty exciting to see. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think seeing kind of almost a new youth movement, it's
Don't
really
say it.
cool.
It's just-
No, I that's why I
Oh
hate
God,
to say it.
he
I hate
saved
to
at the
say it.
pump.
I do hate to say it, but it is kind of being proven true this season, and I think part of it has to do with the new car being more about driver skill than just team resources,
Yeah.
which is always a good sign because we're seeing new drivers that, we've seen have flashes of greatness at certain tracks in the past. Like we've seen obviously the Chase Briscoe's, like, the Indy Road Course where he looks good all day, doesn't end up winning. We've seen Tyler Reddick have great days, doesn't end up winning. We've seen Ross Chastain have here and there, like, just some surprisingly good races. Like, we've seen this all in the past, but it hasn't been as consistent. And, like, even now, like, you're seeing teams like Joe Gibbs Racing, like, barely finish in the top 10, like,
Yeah.
several weeks. Like,
Toyota major struggled this week.
Yeah.
Even though they
Toyota.
ended with even though they got a top 5 with Kurt Busch, his first top 5 with 2311 Racing, and Kurt Busch got both the Busch brothers got top 10s. Kurt got a top 5. Kyle finished 7th after struggling pretty much all day. Truex wrecked out. Bell struggled. Hamlin seemed to be struggling the entire race and still got a top 15.
I kind of
But,
forgot Hamlin was even in that race. He just kind of didn't do anything.
Wallace had a steering problem. It was just a tough race for Toyota all around.
It's been a tough race for Toyota every week so far, other than Daytona, it seems like.
Yeah, for real.
And I'm tired of it.
What did I not
You did say.
tell you at the
did
beginning
say.
of the
You did
season?
say.
did.
I
did
said
say.
that I thought Joe Gibbs Racing was going to have an off year.
You did say.
And I know we're only 4 races in,
But it's
and
proven true. It's
I'm picking a
proven
Joe
true.
Gibbs driver to win next week. But I mean, like, it is what it is, I mean, hopefully Joe Gibbs in Toyota in 2311's been okay.
They've been fine.
It's more, I mean, they have 2 top 5s through 4 races.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you would want more, especially like with RCR, Trackhouse, Hendrick all having like
Basically.
a lot more.
Yeah.
And the Chevy teams are definitely doing better. Penske's doing incredible this season to start off, and well, Penske's been doing okay. Well, Cindric and Blaney have been doing most of the
Okay.
work.
Yeah.
Actually, Blaney. This is the first race Blaney
It's
has finished. Cindric has been doing great, and even though he had a bad race this past week, Logano and Blaney need to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah,
but
'cause I remember at one point I was like, has Austin Cindric been up front at all? Like, I remember I said that at one point when we were sitting there. I was like, is Austin Cindric racing? Because I have not
Like,
heard
yeah.
that. They didn't mention
Funny.
him once, but they mentioned Kyle Larson after he was out with an engine problem.
yeah, like here's the thing: Cindric qualified 6th and then just, beep, like
Right
just
to the
dropped.
bag. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Cindric finished 24th. I'll check that really quick. But
Okay.
overall, I mean, this week it was, yeah, I don't really know, man. It was just
Well, hold
an
on,
interesting
because
experience.
I know we didn't. So we talked about Penske like being solid, and we said, Blaney's been really good, Cindric's been really good. Logano's leading the points.
Is he actually?
Really?
Yeah,
What?
Of course he is.
1 top 5, 2 top 10s.
Well, look at the playoff. Oh wow, he's leading playoff points too. What the hell?
Yeah,
What? No.
I guess I
what?
need to shut
Hold
my
on.
mouth.
Hold on.
really
What?
sneakily good, I guess.
Playoff standings top 10. I'm gonna name them off right now. Logano up by 3 points to Kyle Larson, followed by Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, Almirola, and then Tyler Reddick. If we're talking who's in the top 16 after them, Truex, Chastain, Byron, Harvick, Austin Dillon, and Kurt Busch, with the cutoff line being Bubba Wallace and Brad Keselowski.
Damn.
So
That's
even though we're
crazy.
talking about these drivers struggling, drivers that we've been talking about that have scary good like late race like stuff, like Suarez, who has 2 top 10s on the year and 1 top 5, Ty Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse, Eric Jones, these guys are far out. But you also notice that we didn't name Denny Hamlin, we didn't name Chris Bell, we didn't
Martin
name
Truex Jr.
Oh yeah,
Martin
guess where
Truex
they
Jr.
at? Guess where they're at in the standings without looking.
like 30th.
Denny
Bell
is
is 30th.
27th. Denny is 27th. Bell is 30th.
Yeah.
The only people that Denny is better than is Todd Gilliland and Corey LaJoy. Like, and his teammate Chris Bell.
Oh, this pisses me off.
But did I not say it was gonna happen?
You did
Well,
say
I don't
it,
know.
Tristan.
But I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting.
No,
Overall,
it does make it interesting.
congratulations to Stuart Haas Racing and
Exactly.
SHR, and most importantly, congratulations to Chase Briscoe on becoming the 200th NASCAR Cup Series winner. Now, we did this last time when Cindric won. Who is the next first-time winner? We're gonna send this to Daniel. Who's the next first-time winner?
Hey, so obviously I'm stuck between two names. It's just a matter of which one do I want to pick.
I know which one.
Screw it. I'm going with my heart. Tyler Reddick. I'm going with my heart pick. I think Tyler Reddick gets it soon.
Jay.
I can see that. My pick, I picked him as my wild card last week, and I think I'm gonna stick with him to get his first win. It's gonna be Ross Chastain. I just personally feel like
straight top 3 finishes.
I just feel like he's doing solid right now. He's gonna keep carrying this momentum. It's gonna happen at some point.
I didn't even think about the fact that Atlanta's basically a super speedway now.
Damn,
Oh,
yeah.
crap.
Whoa.
I didn't
And for
think
that
about
reason,
that.
I'm picking Daniel Suarez, baby.
Dang.
Daniel Suarez will probably be the next. He's my underdog pick this week, but Daniel will be my next pick for the next first-time winner. And I think he either gets it done this next weekend at Atlanta, or I think he gets it done at Bristol Dirt. I could just see it happening. I don't know. I
Dude.
just
You know
what? So like I said Reddick. Reddick's still my pick, but if I'm going a wild card first win, Atlanta's a super speedway, and you know that Fords are good on super speedways, and you know who drives a Ford? Todd Gilliam.
I was about to say, you're going to say Todd
yeah,
Gilliam,
you're
aren't
about to
you?
say Todd Gilliland. Yeah, that's honestly not a bad pick.
I'm
Like
interested
it's
to see
not
how.
my pick. It's not my pick, but it might.
I mean, other guys that are in Fords that are good on super speedways, Harrison Burton. I mean, come on.
when
The
he's not
man's
getting
is
wrecked.
due for a good. I mean, he didn't get wrecked last week. He just had a crappy race. I believe he finished sub 30. Just bad week for that Wood Brothers Toyota, but not Toyota, Wood Brothers
Ooh.
Ford.
Mustang.
Actually, I'm going to change mine to Harrison Burton. I'm going with
Okay.
Harrison Burton.
All right, well, I'm gonna pick one of the Trackhouse boys then, because they are hot right now. Come on.
I'm still sticking with Reddick. I
hot
gotta go with my
commodities.
heart. I gotta go
Trackhouse-
with my heart.
Trackhouse has literally 3 top 5s this season and 4 top 10s. Like, there's been 4 races.
I love it. I love that they're doing so good. I'm so happy for Suarez. I'm so happy for Chastain.
I mean, Daniel, did Daniel not say that this was going to happen at the
He
beginning
did
of the
say
season?
that.
Because I believe Daniel Chaney said that Trackhouse was going to take a step up, and I believe that Tristan said that Joe Gibbs was going to take a step down.
You don't have to rub it in my face, Tristan.
All right, let's go ahead and transition.
messing
Let's
with
go
you.
ahead and guess some drivers. Now, I think it's only fitting that we start with F1. And I think it's only fitting that we start with our F1 professional, Justin Cox. Where are we at this week?
We are at the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be a new car, new era. I'm excited for this weekend. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am, hopefully. And everybody watching is too. But my predictions, I'm going to go with Verstappen getting the win. And then I'm going to go with my wild card being Daniel Ricciardo. So,
Solid.
I'm going to pass it over to Daniel now. Daniel, who are your predictions to win the Bahrain Grand Prix this weekend for Formula One?
Let's see. My first prediction, I think I'm going to go George Russell
Ooh, okay.
in the Mercedes.
Okay.
New season, new car, new winner.
Okay.
Wild card. You know, this isn't necessarily a wild card of like who the driver is. It's more of just like a where they are now. I think wild card, I'm going Fernando Alonso.
Oh, wow. That is a big wild
Yeah.
card. Okay. I can see that.
Interesting.
I mean, I can see that, though. But
I mean,
Okay,
because no one really knows what this new car is going to be. Like, obviously, I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to be like NASCAR where it like almost completely evened a lot of the field. But I think we are going to see some teams and drivers have a little bit more or less success than the last season. So
Plus, I know a lot of the teams. So we'll get to Tristan in a second, but I did want to say this real quick. Plus, a lot of the teams, the engine regulations are locked in until I want to say it was either 2024 or 2026. So the engine regulations they have on the car now will be the same engine regulations for the next like 4 to 6 years or whatever, or 2 to 4 years or whatever. So I feel like a lot of teams are gonna go with more power in their engines. So yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as well for you guys, so you knew that. But okay, what do you got, Tristan?
You know, I said it earlier in the episode. I'm keeping my pick, Lando Norris. I think that he takes the season opener this week. Now my wild card pick. This is I don't know if this is really a wild card or not, because he is Sebastian Vettel. But I don't know. I think Sebastian could be like a wild card, just like someone that qualifies well, and I could just see it happening. I don't know.
That's respectable. I could definitely see Sebastian Vettel running up front.
Yeah, but, I mean, I love how none of us said Lewis Hamilton. Like, he's not going to be in contention. Like, he will be there.
I didn't want to be obvious, you know.
But I mean, I guess we'll see. It's going to be telling to see how the season's going to go, because obviously last season, freaking Verstappen and Hamilton won freaking everything. Basically. And I want to see a new champion, so I want to see Lando get it done.
My personal prediction for F1 this year is it's going to be a 3-horse battle between Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull this year. That's my personal opinion personal prediction for the entire season. Like, it's going to come down.
You think Ferrari's going to take a step up with the new car?
Oh, for sure. I feel like.
Do you think McLaren's going to take a step down then?
No. I feel like McLaren's going to step up from where they were, but I don't think they're going to step with Ferrari and Red Bull and Mercedes in them yet. But
you
could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see them being more of like an A tier team, more like, you know, Mercedes, Red Bull, and possibly Ferrari, kind of like an S tier.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Works for me. I'm excited for F1. Got to wake up early in the morning to watch it, but
no, you don't. It's at 11 o'clock. It's at 11 o'clock this
week.
week.
I'm good.
Our time.
I'm good, baby. I'm good. Let's go. Let's go ahead. Daniel's most anticipated race this week. We're going to Texas for the IndyCar's NTT IndyCar Series.
So obviously we're in Texas, and it's possible this could be the last time in a while we see the Texas Motor Speedway on the IndyCar schedule. I don't think it's an awful race. I think it's just mid. Like, I know a lot of people hate it. I don't hate it, but like
I don't think Texas is terrible.
It's not an awful track. It is just very mid compared to what it once was. And true. with all the PJ1 and stuff, it is hard to pass for Indy cars.
I feel like it's been mid since they've changed turn 1, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Ever since they've changed turn 1 to the wide, flatter, rather than how it used to just be even all the way around the track, I feel like it's been mid racing there since then. So.
Okay,
so that's my opinion.
Yeah, so we're in Texas, first oval of the season. My first prediction: he won the first Texas race last year. I have Scott Dixon.
Okay, yeah, that's.
And
I love how we're all kind of going to go there.
And then my wild card.
You're gonna say I feel like I know who you're gonna say.
In the 48 car, I got Jimbo Johnson. He knows Texas like the back of his hand. I think we see him. I don't know if he dominates, but obviously. Well, here's the thing.
This man just goes dominate. Nah, he's a wild card. He's not gonna dominate.
I don't think he dominates.
The hell?
Obviously, he's still learning about these cars. I don't think he dominates. I don't think he's one of those just random drivers that all of a sudden just takes over the entire race. I know he knows the track, but he still's got to learn the car a little bit. But I could see him sneaking in there in the last few laps if he's up in that position.
Yeah, I think
see it.
IndyCar would like have a heart attack if Jimmy Johnson wins this week.
Oh my
I will
God,
not be
yes.
picking the 7-time Cup champion Jimmy Johnson. My pick, I'm going with Scott Dixon as well. I think the man literally knows Texas like the back of his hand. Obviously, we saw him win last year. Texas is a good track for him. Could see it happening. Wildcard though, gonna go with the oval man himself, Takuma Sato. Ran decent last race at St. Pete. I believe he got top 10.
Think so, yeah.
Could see that 51. That 51 always has good oval
Oval
equipment
speed.
in there.
Yeah.
Equipment speed. I forgot words for a minute, but yeah, I think we see a good race from him. I'm not counting out Jimmy Johnson. I do think he's gonna have a top 10 run, but I don't think he'll be in contention for the win. I think Dixon, his teammate, will dominate. Now I think we're gonna do something a little bit fun here. What is one driver you think that will either have like a disappointing race, or that you think will surprisingly just like not do well?
Like in IndyCar.
Yeah, this week in IndyCar Texas.
Well, my prediction is I have Colton Herta winning.
Mm-hmm.
That's my prediction. And then my wild card is Scott McLaughlin. But a driver doing well, I feel like the driver that's gonna do worse. I really don't think Jimmy Johnson's gonna do too good, in my opinion. And
I think that's fair.
I don't know. I just don't think he will. But the driver that I think will do good this weekend is probably gonna be. I've said him before. We've talked about him a lot on the podcast. I'm going with Jack Harvey, man.
Jack Harvey.
I'm going with. I got faith in this man. I've got faith in this man. I feel like he's gonna do good. I honestly feel like he's gonna do pretty good this weekend. Maybe top 7, top 5 run. Honestly, so I can see it.
See it. He needs it after the crap run he had last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's think. Okay, so I'm gonna do one driver I think is gonna do better than probably like anticipated. One that's gonna do worse. Better. I don't know if this is like it's definitely not a bold take, but he's an oval guy. I'm going with Elio.
Mm.
We haven't seen him full time in a while, so we haven't seen him on other ovals besides IMS.
I forgot about him.
I could see him running well. Top 5 maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? But then driver I don't think is gonna do well. I don't think this is gonna be because like they just aren't driving well and like they're just like kind of like in the back. I think maybe they get in a wreck because we're on an oval. Ovals wreck a lot more than road courses and street courses. Typically, unless you're a very special track, Nashville. Ooh, let's see. I think I'm gonna go Alexander Rossi. I think the streak of disappointment continues.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. I can see it.
I hate it for Rossi, man.
I
trying.
feel bad for him. Like
He's trying his heart out.
a lot of the time, it's out of his control. But
Yeah.
he's just had such a bad streak with last season. And
He's not
beginning
going
of
to
the
be with
season.
Andretti next season.
I don't see it.
I don't know.
Disappointing.
Another person I think that could, Felix Rosenquist, have a good race.
I thought
yeah.
about saying it, but I say him every time I have an underrated pick. So I was holding back.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
glad
hey,
someone else said
he
it.
didn't do so bad last week, so
Yeah.
led some laps.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Felix up there. All right. In my opinion, the most exciting race this weekend is the new and improved Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Super Speedway. What? There's a double yellow line. There's a banking. Obviously,
front stretch is
Darian
wide.
talked to us all about it, like his experience. Him and Danny B went over to the track. They're gonna have media passes, so you'll get to check into his account. He's gonna have all that stuff for us. It's gonna be great, but it's gonna be interesting. This week, as I mentioned earlier, I'm picking Christopher Bell, just because I saw this thing on Twitter that said that all of the races so far, the drivers so far have won have raced in the Chili Bowl, and I couldn't remember if Cindric ran in the Chili Bowl or not, but I know that Bowman Larson and last week's winner Chase Briscoe did. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Chris Bell. Wildcard pick is gonna be one of the Trackhouse boys. I think that Chastain or Suarez gets it done. Jay, who you got over in the Cup Series?
Man, it's a lot of guys you can have this week because I don't know how the racing's actually going to turn out. I don't know if it's actually going to be super speedway pack racing or if it's going to be like 550 package type of racing. That's what I'm most worried about is the actual racing itself.
Right.
And
I feel like we'll see right when they take off how it's going to be.
Pretty much.
First few laps for sure.
But my pick for Atlanta, I got 3 super speedway guys anyway as my picks, just in the case that it is super speedway racing. So I think he needs to cut it out. I'm gonna go with Brad Keselowski this week as my first pick. That is if it is super speedway racing. But my wild card is mi amigo Daniel Suarez.
Suarez.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Love that,
That's what I'm
man.
going with. Yep. I don't know. I'm just excited to see the racing there this weekend, or maybe not excited. I don't know.
Nervous. Nervous
Yeah,
is a
nervous.
good word.
That's a great word to use.
Cautiously
actually.
optimistic.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we
Perfect.
did say.
Look at
That's what we
Daniel.
did
That's
say.
why he's here.
I'm here for the big words. And fast talks.
Man. All right, Dan, who you got this week at Atlanta and Cup?
Atlanta Motor Speedway. You know what we're doing, boys?
What we doing?
We're saving at the pump. I'm picking Joey Logano.
Oh shoot!
Oh,
And then wild card. This is assuming super speedway racing. He's gonna dump 7 billion cars to get to it. It's gonna be Brad Keselowski.
Oh, dang.
go.
He needs to stop.
There you go.
He
Say it, Daniel.
stopped this week. He stopped this
Okay.
week.
He did.
All right,
did.
so
He took
there
a
you go.
break. It's gonna happen again.
Yep. There you go. And then obviously 2 other races that we normally cover on the show, Xfinity and trucks. Let's go ahead and start with trucks. Name one guy. At Atlanta, someone that normally always runs well. We normally see Toyota run well. Gonna pick Ben Rhodes. I think he comes back from Mans has won everything but the race this season. So many stage wins. I'm gonna go pick Ben Rhodes. Who you got, Jay? Trucks.
For trucks, I feel like he hasn't necessarily had super bad luck, but I feel like he's kind of gotten the short end of the stick on some opportunities this season. I'm gonna go with Christian Eckes.
I had a feeling you were gonna go Eckes like today. I was thinking about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, he's gonna say Christian Eckes.
You already know.
Dan, who you got?
Okay.
Wait, before he goes, I'm gonna think my pick really quick.
Are you guessing who you think my pick is gonna be?
Yeah, I have my guess.
Well, if his nickname is his name shortened into 3 initials, JHN, John Hunter Nemechek.
I
Then you
actually
would be
wasn't
correct.
thinking JHN. I was thinking you were gonna pick Infinger. But
That's who my first thought.
I-
That was who my first thought was.
dude, look at us. But yeah, those are our truck picks. It's gonna be exciting. Gonna be an exciting race there in trucks. Xfinity, as we always do, 1 pick for Xfinity. Last week, none of us got it right, but this is revamped Atlanta. This is new Atlanta, which makes me think that we're gonna see an underdog winner. I think he finally gets it done. Ryan Sieg.
Ooh.
I think Ryan Sieg in the number 39 for his own race team. I think he gets it done. 39. That's my pick this week. Jay?
I'm gonna go with the man. I think he finished 3rd this past weekend. I'm gonna give it to Josh Berry this weekend. That's who. I just feel like. I just feel it.
He's
feel
normally
Right
my,
there.
my championship
right
pick.
there, I feel it.
It is what it is.
I
That's
feel
it.
And
I
Daniel.
just feel it.
And,
I feel it.
and Daniel.
Okay. I'm going with a former champion. I'm going with the man who's only won 1 race ever. I'm going Daniel Hemrick.
Ooh.
Hey.
It's a super speedway, and he races for Colleague Racing. I'm
This is
taking
true.
Daniel
This
Hemrick.
is true.
It's true. And we haven't really seen. Well, we've seen Hemrick run well. We haven't seen Hemrick lead yet this
Yeah,
season.
no.
And like he's gotten a top 5. He's gotten a couple top 10s so far on the year, but
Welcome to
haven't
the Daniel
seen-
Hemrick experience.
Yeah, like
With Daniel Hendrick
you're honestly
experience.
not wrong. Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend at Phoenix. Really excited for all the racing that we got going on. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous
I'm so
because
nervous.
we're gonna watch a lot of racing this weekend, and I'm gonna be flipping through so many damn channels.
We're gonna
But
miss,
here's the
someone's gonna
thing.
miss something at some point.
But here's the thing. Unfortunately, for everyone, I will not be able to tune in to the Saturday races. I will be out of town this weekend. As most people know, I am a martial artist and I own a martial arts school. So I will be out of town for the Saturday races. So I will not get to watch any of the Xfinity race, or actually probably won't get to watch the truck race either. So you guys need to fill me in on all that stuff. So
Okay, I'll try to
excited.
make sure.
And thank you guys so much for listening to the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. Now, this is a special episode. This was the 10th episode of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. This came as an idea for all of us like 3 months ago that we were like, yo, let's just do a podcast together. And we're enjoying it so far. We became really good friends, and it's a great vibe for us all together.
Yeah, for
and
real.
if you guys ever see us at the track, we're going to be at Indy, obviously. We're going to try to go to Michigan. We're going to try to go to Gateway. We're trying to go all these places. Say what's up to us there if you're headed out to the track. 10 episodes. Daniel, did you think we would make it 10 episodes? Let's be honest with each other.
I'm gonna be honest. I probably thought we'd get tired after a while. I thought if we got to a 10th episode, it would definitely be a little bit. I thought we would take some breaks because we're young adults, and we get tired easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm excited we're here.
Jay?
No, I'm honestly grateful that we started doing. Sorry, my voice is real scratchy right now. I'm honestly grateful we started. Yeah, I'm honestly grateful we really started doing this podcast because like I've been wanting to do something on the side, and it's real great. It's real great. It's been fun. I've done a lot of the stuff that I've really wanted to do, like interviewed an IndyCar driver, and then we just interviewed Darian in this episode. So what a 10th episode, right? But
Right.
like, I don't know, like it's been great so far. Like to talk about like if I thought we got tired, like or we'd get tired or whatever. Like honestly, after we interviewed David, I feel like that's when we started like knowing like, all right, we should really grind this. That's when I started to know to like we got to really grind this now. Once we got David on, I knew that's when we were supposed to be like, yep, we're gonna do this. And then we just got.
I feel like once we got the Instagram like from Willpower, Jay was like, "All right, boys."
Yeah, for real. It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong, bub.
Man.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now that we just interviewed Darian, so this is cool. It's going great so far, I think. So, what about you, Tristan?
You know, I have wanted, and me and Daniel have honestly, like, for the listeners that don't know, me and Daniel went to high school together, and we've talked about doing podcasts since I was like a junior in high school.
There have
And
been so many different like options. Like the original idea was before I was into NASCAR, he was just gonna like have me watch NASCAR with him and just interview me every week on like what I thought. There were so many iterations of what this could have been.
Yeah,
we were gonna do different topics. It wasn't gonna be auto racing. It could have been basketball. It could have been NFL. Like it could have just been like us talking. Like, and I'm glad that we all have a mutual love of auto sports and that we've been able to form together to become the Indy Boys. And that's kind of our identity now. And it was freaking Instagram caption a couple days ago. And
yeah.
it's hilarious. But, you know, thankful for all of you guys. Thank you guys to the listeners. And to celebrate our 10th episode, we're doing something special for the month of March. It's March Madness, baby. And we are doing our own March Madness Bracket League at Indy Boys Racing Podcast. You can search it. We're going to be on the ESPN app. So if you guys want to join our league, it's on the ESPN app. And if the highest person, so we're all three going to be in it, the highest ranking person that is not one of us three will get to join us as a special guest on the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. And we'll talk to you guys about how long you've listened, what got you into auto racing, who your favorite driver is, all fun stuff, and just thank you for being a supporter of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. But you guys have to join soon because games start on Thursday. So you guys have to join like soon.
Yeah.
So get that out there quickly. I'm going to be spamming Twitter. Just join as quickly as you can. It is an unlimited bracket space. There's no like cutoffs on who can be in the bracket. Only thing, you gotta have a racing pun for your name. I've already taken Team Wheels, guys. It's off the table.
Oh.
So I'm just saying. So make that bracket, get that league going. Even though I'm from Indiana, I was gonna pick Purdue anyway. It's gonna be an interesting season. March Madness. Jay, you got something to say?
Oh, I was messing with here, but I will say I'll make sure to put the link to that in the description for the YouTube people. So just make sure you check out the description down below for the March Madness bracket if you're watching on YouTube right now.
Who knows? Maybe the first perfect bracket will come from an Indy Boys Racing Podcast listener.
True.
It won't. That'd be dope as hell, though. Anyway, signing off for Daniel Chaney and Justin Cox. Big weekend of racing coming up. My name is Tristan Grider. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.